How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today is part 2 of the A90 Airlift air suspension install. But before I do that, I do have to move the Mustang and the Mercedes out of the way. I have the management system already assembled for Clark's A90, so let's get started. This is the A90 Supra that I'm working on for the air suspension install. It is on Volk T37 SL wheels. Has an exhaust setup, an APR wing, F5 exhaust. There you go. But yeah, gonna get started on get this thing done. It's gonna take me a minute. There's a lot of little intricacies and detail on this car when you're working on it compared to most cars, so might take me a little longer than usual, but I plan to knock this out today. So let's get started. And if you like watching this kind of content, do me a huge favor, hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Still doing the 1,000 subscriber merch giveaway. All you gotta do is subscribe to the channel, leave some likes and comments down below, and follow our social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna give away some merch. Obviously, as you saw in the time lapse, the car is on jack stands now and the wheels are off. I did take off the top covers to just get everything prepared and ready. These top bolts are just loosened already. I know you don't torque them with a whole lot of torque to begin with. And just now I just have to get all this apart. This car's got a couple of miles on it, so it's not the cleanest, but that's okay. First challenge is to obviously get all the OEM suspension out, get the struts in that I already have prepared. The nice part is if you're not sure what to do, Airlift actually includes an instruction guide now. Normally don't look at it, but I did out of this car out of curiosity. And yeah, everything's pretty straightforward, just a lot of taking apart, putting it back together. But this is kind of nice. I remember back in the days, the Airlift manuals didn't have any of this there, but they do now. So it's a nice thing. So I don't need to really go over it in full detail. Everything's here, or you can find a coilover install video online as well. There's plenty of them. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
One pathetic sob story later.
All right, here's some updates. I apologize for not time-lapsing. I didn't realize the camera died and I really got into a busy mode. So all the lines are ran for the car. That's all done, tucked clean away. The front struts still need to be done. I have this side disassembled. It's being real stubborn about the lower knuckle coming out, so I gotta play with that more. But I went ahead and did some other things. The rear setup is in. I just have to get the last lower bolt in. It's being stubborn, and that is the case for both sides. So I'm gonna unbolt, loosen everything so I have a little bit more free play in the suspension to try to get everything to line up. The trunk area, power wire, everything's ran. So I just need to drop this in, but in process I need to take apart some of the interior. This is a very, very, very tight fit. So once I disassemble some of the interior, hopefully I can drop this in and be done with that. So it doesn't sound like I got a lot done. It's a decent amount done. Hopefully I can be done in the next few hours. This car is a little bit more challenging than I anticipated, but this is a half BMW, I guess you would call it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Also, if you're installing a air suspension setup on an A90 Supra. In the trunk area, there is, where the battery tray is, there is two plastic caps that are sealed over on the outside of the car. You can actually drill through and use that as your point to feed in the air lines. I have it done on both sides, so it's a nice clean install. And yeah, like I said, most of the directions are on the Airlift install manuals if you're not sure. So I didn't feel like I needed to show that, because once you buy this kit, it does come with an install manual, which is really nice, as I said earlier. But yeah, everything's in there. I just have to get this last bolt to line up. So I'm probably gonna loosen these up so there's a little bit more free play going around in the suspension, or actually remove the bolts so it's free play so I can get that to line up, because this is being pretty stubborn yesterday.
A lot of boring math later.
It is really hot right now, and it's humid. It rained yesterday. Started the car up, and I don't know if you can hear it. Something's charging up. Yes, we have power. We're gonna charge up to see if there's any leaks. Tapped into one of the accessory spots there. I did it with the USB. I will see how it all works after. I haven't connected any of the lines yet to the manifold because we're obviously not done, but I just want to charge up the system to make sure everything's working okay on this end, and then from there work our way to other things. But looks like it's charging up just fine. It's running on one compressor, so it takes a little longer, but Clark isn't the type to sit there, air up there and air down all day, so he's fine. But yeah, I'm gonna charge up and then check for everything on the tank itself for any leaks, clean this up a little bit, and then kind of go from there.
2,000 years later.
All right, I have the interior back together, the lines are cleaned up, and the trunk is done. Let me show it to you. So to get the trunk set up into the car, I actually had to take the seat out and some of the interior, put everything back in, and all of Clark's stuff back here. So the seat's back to where it's supposed to be, and let me show you the trunk. Here's the trunk setup. Nice, simple, clean. I just got to tuck the wires back a little bit more, but takes all but 30 seconds or so. But yeah, that's pretty much how it looks. I got to finish doing the suspension, and then from there, bring the car back on the ground and leak test it. Slowly but surely, it's coming along. This car technically is German, so not always easiest to work on, but we'll get it done.
One pair of pants later.
So obviously the next morning, car is all finished up. Apologize on the lack of video updates. Again, I got no grind mode and wasn't able to get any usable content, and I was working on the car at night. And through many people complaining on the comments on previous videos, the footage isn't that great. I'm just using a basic GoPro. So here is the Supra. What I do every time I do an air install is once I finish, I leave it aired up to a certain PSI and pretty much all the way up to check for leaks and everything and see how it is. Let's go ahead and unlock the car and check the readings. Don't hear a compressor, that's a good sign. And here, last night I aired it up to about 117, 120 depending on how it's reading, so not much of a leak, or if there is any. Everything's reading real nice. Let me go ahead and start the car, make sure everything's good. Perfect. Clark, you need to take your car in for service. One of the actual real nice parts about this kit is it actually gets pretty high. So Clark's big concern is his driveway, because he has a lip kit that he's going to put on. So this is going to be really nice because this gets a little bit above stock height at max up. The rear obviously doesn't get as high, but he was more concerned about the front. So let me show you what the car looks like when it's aired down. I haven't done any of the presets yet. I'm gonna let Clark do that. Everybody has their own preferences and they got to feel out what their driving height is and what's a good PSI and all that. On this car, I don't know particularly off the top of my head. But yeah, the car sits pretty nice and low. Can camber the front some, and that's something I believe that'll happen when it goes over to Kaiju for an alignment. Just tad hair of camber just so it's not hitting the bumper right here. And it should be fine. But yeah, this is a pretty well set up car. Everything from Airlift, I just took it out of the box and put it in, didn't adjust anything. So this is a really nice setup with the height and everything that's there. If you have a lip kit option, it actually sit real nice. The sides and the front should be almost laid out. Really like how this looks. Again, this is the Toyota Supra A90 Airlift air suspension install. Thank you to Caleb for coming by yesterday to help out. Definitely do appreciate it. Made this go a lot quicker. But yeah, that pretty much concludes this episode. Thank you so much for watching this two-part episode of the Airlift performance install. I apologize on some of the content not being usable and things skipping around and the continuity being kind of off. Some of the camera footage that I got just wasn't any good, and again, a couple people in the comments weren't too happy with how the content came out. So you know what, I just had to just cut all the bad stuff. But again, not ramblings, apologies. But until next time, you guys take care. Thank you so much for watching.